Hi, my name is Melvin Way. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and this will be the first episode of my series on growing habanero peppers. So this is just a seed packet that I bought at a local store. It was cheap, and I decided why not? I have lots of pots and soil. Why not try to grow peppers? I've seen other people grow peppers, and I like the foliage. It looks like it's pretty easy to maintain. So this should be a relatively trouble-free assignment. But then again, every time I say things like that, things manage to find a way to go wrong. So these are what the seeds look like. They look like your typical pepper seeds from inside the non-hot peppers and also the hot peppers. So they're all wrinkly and desiccated looking. That's just the way they are. And this is some macro footage up close on my table. This is way too many seeds. I think these grow basically kind of like large weeds, or not even the size of a small bush. So I'll just take like 5 seeds, these 5, randomly, and I'll plant them and see what happens. I don't have a very large pot, so I'll place one in the center. They say to bury 1/4 of an inch deep, so 1 inch is 2.54 centimeters, and 1/4 of that would be, let's see, 0.635 centimeters or something like that. So yeah, I'm just gonna bury them in a kind of a square pattern with one in the center, and that's it. Just be gentle. Of course, the distance is completely estimated, so it could be off, but that doesn't really matter in my experience. They're just giving you general guidelines, and there's no way a farmer or anyone else could plant these on a large scale at exactly the same depth each. So that'll about do it. This is actually a pot from a failed root growing experiment for American ginseng. So those American ginseng roots were exposed to moisture. I added water in the watering tray from the bottom. Everything got wet, and over a few weeks' time, they all just rotted away. So that's kind of irrelevant to this experiment because they're never going to come back, but they're basically functioning as additional fertilizer. So here I'm just smoothing with a camera airbrush, and I put sand over what I just buried, and nothing can grow in there. Sand doesn't really retain all that much moisture, but it helps prevent drying out of the topsoil surface. And I'll water with some 0.5 hydrogen peroxide like I've been doing with many of my other plants. This has a watering tray at the bottom, so it's better to water from the bottom. If you water from the top, that causes a massive upheaval. So this is just a typical cheapo hydrogen peroxide solution I get from Target. It's a 3% solution, so I dilute that with 1 part of this into 5 parts of water. So I have water, distilled water mixed in, up to the 20 mark. Then I fill it to the 24 mark with hydrogen peroxide 3%. That gives me 0.5%. Then I'm gonna water in the bottom until it's full, and repeat this process as needed until water stops absorbing in. Then I can just leave it alone for a really long time because the soil will be saturated with moisture. So on day 9, I got this. So it's my first seedling, and so far it's just like many other plants. The leaves, cotyledons, are a little different from what I'm used to seeing with other plants. On day 11, here's my setup. It's elevated a little bit because I have this clamp lamp, and I put my most powerful light bulb in it that's giving off 1680 lumens. And this is the seedling that I showed you on day 9. The foliage is very healthy green, and I don't know if these light levels will be enough for these pepper plants, but I'll monitor the situation. I can always take this pot outside, and this is a second seedling. So there's 2 different colors of peppers on the packaging, red and yellow, and I planted 5 seeds because I want to have at least 1 of each. So the other 3 seeds haven't germinated yet, and I'll have to decide whether I'm going to plant new seeds or just let these 2 grow and gamble.